Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing what might be the most interesting and overlooked of the 2017 model year Breitling Baselworld novelties. It's the Breitling Navitimer Rattrapante in stainless steel. You can see this Breitling manufacture movement B03 stainless steel split seconds chronograph and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Breitling Navitimer Rattrapante chronometer chronograph. This is a watch that has a lot going for it. For one thing, there is no truly definitive modern Navitimer. Historically, you would say the early AOPA 806s. Preferably if you could find one with a Valjoux 72. But that was a very brief period of time. Unlike the Rolex Sub-No Date or the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch, there is no one Navitimer that is the Navitimer, meaning every Navitimer in steel with a combination of tone-on-tone dial and rotating slide rule bezel can be considered rightfully the icon of the Breitling maison and manufacture. This is a watch that is the Breitling to own, with a feature and a function that very few Navitimers historically have ever boasted. Now, this is a watch that's also large but easy to wear, despite the 45mm diameter, and that's not inclusive of chronograph pushers or crown, and it is quite a crown, you'll see in a moment. The watch wears well for a 45 on my 16cm circumference wrist. Pilots' watches can get away with being a little bit oversized because having a larger functional dial, especially when there's also a calculator slide rule bezel, makes practical sense. It does help to have more dial real estate to spread out all of that information and all of those calibrations. The watch is thick, there's no getting around that, 15.7mm, and it's a sheer kind of thick with a vertical case flank. It's not going to fit underneath a dress cuff, but for most normal sized male wrists, your suit jacket cuff will slide up and over. From lug to lug, it's big, but it's not so huge that I start having second thoughts about wearing this myself. 52.4mm, it's an easy watch to wear across the wrist, provided your wrist is at least, I'm going to say, 14.5 to 15 centimeters in circumference. The lower end of that scale, you'd have to have a really flat oval wrist like mine to wear it well. I will say, however, that you can accessorize to your heart's content if this upscale alligator leather pilot strap doesn't suit you, because 24mm is the lug spacing. Now you know. The watch is handsome, versatile, and with full polished stainless steel case, quite stylish, but the unexpected refinement comes in the form of alligator leather rather than the more common aviator's calfskin. Now, aviator's calfskin might be a little bit more historically accurate, and it's certainly cheaper to equip. I'm happy to see that on a flagship watch like this, Breitling went all out with the specification. A lot of alligator leather deployed in a dark brown coloration with medium rectangular scales, a contrasting stitch. You can see the sheer flank, and you'll see the layers that comprise this enormous strap, as well as the bolstering that helps it to stand up better against the swell of the lugs, visually speaking. On the underside, a beautiful calfskin, and then a clasp that is smart in its design. You can see it's relatively low in profile when buckled down. Fully finished inside and out, it features a minderless system, so excess strap length tucks underneath the body of the clasp, rather than marring the aesthetic of the watch. When closed, it looks roughly like this. No minder loops, no excess length flapping in the breeze. Plus, because it uses a crimping system to grip the opposite side of the strap, you'll note that there are no perforations in the strap, so there's nothing to become gouged and to age your strap before its time. This is one that's going to wear evenly and endure for a long period on the wrist. Now, getting back to the case, you can see that it is simple and traditional, but the Navitimer's always had a little bit more of a sculptural beauty about its lugs than you'll find on equivalent Rolex Daytonas, Submariners, GMTs, or Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster family. They're incredibly fine, detailed, tapered, almost elegant relative to the purpose of the watch, which is utilitarian and functional. There's a handsome sculptural beauty about these lugs, and yet the same kind of strength from solid and enduring geometries, strong creases, hard angles that you see on, for example, a 1963 Hoyer Carrera. There is a difficult to describe combination of masculine strength and elegance about these lugs that's both timeless and unique to the Navitimer. Now, of course, the case is all in high polish. That is the Breitling way, but it's also historically true. Moving on to the dial, you can see that it's surrounded by the circular slide rule. This is effectively a device for multiplying and dividing, and you'll find that once you get used to it, it takes all of about 10 minutes, and Breitling does include special instructions with the watch to help you. But once you get good with it, you'll be able to beat your friends at the local restaurant while calculating a tip for the waiter, and pointedly, you'll be able to beat them even when they're using their smartphones. 3 cheers for analog technology. Now, the watch features quite a good deal of technology below the dial. We may as well start it up because this is where it starts to set itself apart. While the dial with the silver on black registers is true to mid-century Navitimer aesthetic, you'll note that there is a coaxial control within the crown at 3 o'clock that allows you to operate the rattrapante, or split-second function. Now, the split-second allows you to time 2 concurrent events while keeping the chronograph running. So, for example, 2 cars are racing around a track. Every time car 1 passes the finish line, you can stop one of the seconds hands, and at the point that car 2 passes, you can note the time, write that down, resume timing both of them, and you can keep timing the split between them. That's why you split the seconds, to try to determine whether the gap is growing or shrinking over a period. And of course, you can stop the split seconds hand and stop the primary chronograph seconds hand, so you can more accurately read that interval if whatever event you're timing has ended or you need to be precise. You can't just read on the fly. Now, you can also restart the primary chronograph seconds hand and return the rattrapante hand to a superimposed position. Plus, you can operate it like a normal chronograph, wherein you start, you stop, and you reset in that sequence. Now, the dial does feature an amount of luminova that makes it legible at night. There will be a lume shot at the end of the video. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see in better detail. And you'll note that there is a monotone date disc at 4:30 that you can use for reading this practical information. I happen to find a date practical on a watch that's designed to be used every day. I prefer to have it, I reference it, and I miss it when I don't. You'll also be happy to know that it features a quick set function, so you can rapidly cycle it should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. And the watch features a hacking seconds function. If you pull the crown to extremity, you stop the BO3 in-house caliber altogether, and you can synchronize to a reference time. Now, on the case back, you'll see it is a screwed in and solid case back, attesting to the chronometer status of the movement. Caliber BO3, 70-hour power reserve, automatic winding, COSC certified Swiss chronometer, and thanks to the screwed-in case back and seals water resistant to 30 meters, this watch is often reported as 50 meters water resistant. Don't believe that, it is 30 meters. It is a solidly constructed modern chronograph architecture, and you'll note under this conversion factor case back, you're getting a lot of tech, not just the split seconds functionality, but you're getting a traditional architecture, so what was considered high tech in the early 20th century, the column wheel function, and you're getting what is, and that gives you the crisp actuation, so you feel and you hear the chronograph cycling through its functions. And you also get a vertical clutch. So with a vertical clutch, there's no jump or stagger to the chronograph seconds hand when you start it up, because unlike a conventional lateral clutch, for instance what you'd see on an Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch, there's no play in the system, no teeth to mesh, and thus there's no jump and stagger. Moreover, if you just leave your chronograph engaged, you prefer to have center seconds to match the minutes and the hours, that's safe to do with a vertical clutch because, again, there are no teeth meshing, there's no additional wear or tear on your movement, and you're not shortening your service interval. This is a timepiece that hits on all cylinders. A timeless style, gorgeous and versatile case lines, the practicality of stainless steel, a manufacturer movement, the convenience of a calculator bezel, and the fact that this is the icon of Breitling. If you're going to buy just one Breitling, make it a Navitimer. And if you want the current king of Navitimers, you have to consider the Navitimer Rattrapante. See it and own it on our website. And we're back with the Breitling Navitimer Rattrapante. As you can see, robustly loomed for a pilot style watch. You can see and you can purchase this one on our website.